Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Justin with Pips Ahoy. And for those of you that don't know, if you're brand new to the channel, I'm actually a full-time day trader in the Forex market. And I get a lot of questions on social media from people asking, how do I do this? What is your strategy? How can I do this? What's the right lot size for my account? I get a lot of questions on a daily basis. So on Instagram, I threw up a Q&A, something where you can ask me a question. And in this video, I'm going to answer it for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first question comes from Sam Butterfly. He says, how or what do I need to set up my MT4 up with the divergence strategy you use? So I just use the OBV indicator. That's it. First of all, you need to know what divergence is. Divergence is when there's a difference between price action and whatever indicator you are using. So as an example, some people use the RSI for divergence, but I personally use the OBV. It really doesn't matter which one you use because at the end of the day, you're just spotting a difference between price action and the indicator. So as an example, let's say on price action it's creating higher lows, but the OBV is creating lower lows, right? And if you use my cheat sheet, which I actually went over in a previous video, that'll tell you what type of divergence it is. So to answer your question, Sam Butterfly, all you need to use is RSI or the OBV, which stands for on balance volume. Just use any indicator like those and you'll go ahead and that'll be a lot easier for you to start spotting divergences on your own. Seven Figure Boss wants to know, how many signals do you send per day for your VIP group? So what I like to do is I like to do intraday / swing trades. So I'll usually hold my trades either for an entire day or for a few days, depending on how big of a trade we're looking to catch. So on average, I don't send daily trades. I'll send anywhere between 2 to 5, maybe 6 or 7 trades in a given week. The reason for that is because, again, we're intraday trading and swing trading. And I like to personally aim for a minimum of 50 pips per trade. And I go for usually between 50 to 300 pips in a single trade. So let's do the math here. Let's say I catch a minimum of 50 pips per trade. And if I call out 5 trades in a week, that's 250 pips for 1 week, which is all you need. In reality, all you need is 100 pips or less, like 50 to 100 pips in a week. That's all you need. Because it's not really about catching a lot of pips or making a lot of money. It's about slowly growing your account. That's the name of the game. In Forex or just trading in general, people have this big misconception, especially brand new traders to the market. They think you need to catch a lot of pips, or if you're not catching a lot of pips, then you're not a good trader. Totally wrong. There are people who catch only 50 pips a week and they work full time just by trading. That's it. Probably thinking, how can you catch 50 pips a week and trade full time? It depends on your account size and your risk management. Here's an example. Let's say you have $1 million in your account. I know not everyone has $1 million, but this just goes to show that it doesn't matter how many pips you're catching as long as you are consistently growing it in a slow way. Let's say you have $1 million in your account and you're going to catch 50 pips per week. Then let's say you're trading with 10 standard lots on that trade. That's going to be $5,000 you made because 10 standard lots is worth $100 per pip. So if you're catching 50 pips, that's $5,000. Now, let's say you're going to catch 100 pips in a week and you're trading with 10 standard lots. That's $100 per pip times 100 pips. So that's $10,000 you made in 1 week just by catching only 100 pips. And of course, the smaller account size you have, the smaller profits you're going to be gaining. But the goal is to slowly build your account up because a lot of people when they're trading, they try focusing on catching a lot of pips. But that's actually part of their downfall. They end up losing money because they're too focused on trying to catch a lot of pips, even though pips are more valuable than the dollars you're making, because it's the pips, it's the compounding of the pips on your account, compounding of the growth on your account that's going to have bigger profits and bigger returns over time. But really the goal is not to focus on getting a lot of pips in the very beginning. It's just about being consistent and slowly growing your account. That's it. So I know I went on a tangent there, but what I'm trying to say here is I'm trying to get everyone to stop thinking you need to trade every single day in the market. There are times when actually trading less is better for you. So I try to get anywhere between 2 to 5, maybe 7 trades per week because I'm intraday trading or swing trading those trades. Fund Isaka said, should we expect a VIP monthly offer anytime soon? It's already monthly. It's $50 a month or $400 a year. You save $200 if you get the yearly plan. Okay, here's a good question. It's from Kingston 1986. He said, do you find certain trading times of the day to be better for looking for setups? I think that's also another misunderstanding. There is no specific time of the day, in my personal opinion, that you're going to have good setups. Good setups happen any time of the day. It doesn't matter if it's 1 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. you're going to find trading setups, good and bad, throughout the entire day. So really, it's just about keeping an eye on the charts. There are people who like to use indicators and expert advisors to help them spot setups automatically. So if they're away or if they're sleeping, it'll automatically detect it for you and send you a push alert or an email. So there's a lot of ways that you can find high quality setups if you're not on your computer looking on your phone all day. But to answer your question again, exactly, in my opinion, there are no certain times that high quality setups form because they can form at any time. Eddie Obajay, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. He said, what time frame is best? So I actually made an entire video about different time frames that I trade on based off divergences. And I actually explained how many pips I try to catch per time frame depending on what time frame I'm trading on based on divergence. To keep it short and simple, there is no such thing as the best time frame because in my opinion, you need to be utilizing every single time frame out there. There's something called a top-down analysis. It's where you start from the highest time frame, which is the monthly time frame, and you work your way down to like the 15-minute, 30-minute time frame and things like that. Now, to answer another question that a lot of people ask me, they ask me, do I ever use like the 5-minute or the 1-minute time frame? The answer is pretty much no. The only time I do that is if I'm looking to see specific reversal candles, if we just reach the highest peak of resistance and I'm looking to see how it reacts at that level, but I pretty much never use the 1-minute or 5-minute time frames. The very bare minimum I ever use is the 15-minute time frame, but even then I don't use that. I'd say pretty much the minimum I use is 30-minute and higher. Now, I do know that a lot of people keep asking me what is my favorite time frame I like to trade on or I like to look at. What I will say, in my personal opinion, the 4-hour time frame presents the highest quality setups and long-term moves, either for a short period of time or a long period of time. The 4-hour time frame has been my specialty over the years. I have learned to trade on the 4-hour time frame, and when I say trade on the 4-hour time frame, I mean you spot amazing setups and the way things behave, like you see things more clearly. Things become more clear in the market if you focus on the 4-hour time frame and higher. At the same time, there is no such thing as the best time frame because they're all equally as important. Even if I don't use the 1-minute or the 5-minute time frames, they're just as important as the daily and weekly time frames, depending on how you use it and what your strategy is. Hano Lato 14 says, if I deposited $100 into my live account and chose a leverage of 1 to 100, how can my account blow up? Okay, so this question, at the end of the day, you can blow up your account even if you have the smallest leverage possible. I know in the EU, I think the lowest leverage possible is 1 to 30. Here in the US, it's 1 to 50. But if you go offshore, you can get up to like 1 to 500, 1 to 1,000, even 1 to 3,000, which is the highest I've ever seen, which is ridiculous. At the end of the day, you can blow your account using any leverage. It just all comes down to your patience, your risk management, and how aggressive you are with your trading. Like, are you constantly over trading? Are you doing more trades than you should be? Are you placing trades when you should be staying out of the market because of certain things? There's a lot of factors that could affect you and your account, but it all really comes down to the individual and your risk management. Now, there will be a lot of times where you see people turn a $100 account or a $500 account into a few $1,000s. One thing I actually never shared on this YouTube channel, but I shared on my Instagram, I documented the results. And something I didn't even share here on YouTube yet is that I deposited $500 into an account. This is a few weeks ago, and I turned it into $3,000 in 1 week. This is my live account. And then I withdrew basically the entire account, and I bought myself an electric bicycle that cost $2,200. So the only reason why I'm able to do this is because, one, I have many years of experience in the market, but number two, I have a consistently winning, profitable strategy that I'm able to utilize. So even though I obviously over leveraged on this account, I have the experience. And the reason why 99% of traders will never be able to achieve what I achieved right there is because they lack experience and they lack the proper mentality when it comes to over leveraging on purpose. So really, to pretty much answer your question, I think you will blow your account if you don't understand what you're doing. But if you understand what you're doing, then you're not even going to attempt over leveraging. You won't even think about blowing your account because you're going to stick to proper risk management strategies. Not Secret Recipe says, how old are you and how old are you when you started trading? I started trading right after high school when I was 18. Right now I'm 23. So I've been trading for about 5 years now. Graham S. Clark says, do you still use the paid indicator? Yes, I still use the True TL paid indicator. For those of you that don't know what it is a indicator that helps you spot divergences automatically so you don't have to spot them manually. The benefit about this indicator is that it's going to help you spot divergences that maybe you didn't see yourself. And here's actually a great example. Last week during the new year, we got into a buy position for gold and it spiked up by 100 pips and we closed out at 89 pips. And I was actually able to get into that buy position because the true TL indicator that spotted divergence for me, it showed me bullish hidden divergence during the uptrend. And if, like we always say, hidden divergence helps confirm the trend. So because gold's in an uptrend and we spotted bullish hidden divergence, that was a good confirmation for me to buy it, especially because we were breaking through a trend line. So we bought it and our members caught about 80 to 100 pips on that trade. I was not able to spot divergence at all by looking at the chart with my eyes, but the indicator was able to spot a very tiny form of hidden divergence. And if it wasn't for me spotting that, we wouldn't have gotten into the trade and the members wouldn't have made money. So yes, I still use the paid indicator. It helps me a whole lot. Leg Keezy says, I need a trusted and reliable broker and mentor. How much would I need to invest? Number one, I do not invest anyone's money. I do not do copy trading services. I don't invest your money for you. I don't deal with people's money whatsoever. So if you are ever introduced on social media with somebody using pictures from my account, pretending to be me, just know I never trade people's money and I never do any copy trading whatsoever. Do not send Bitcoin to a random person that has my images online. The only Instagram account I own is the one you're going to see right here. It says I'm just in time. That's it. There will be times where you see people, they'll change, they'll have a username that looks exactly like mine, but they change the E to a number 3, right? Or something like that to make it look similar. But this is my only Instagram account and this is my only YouTube account that you're watching this video on right now. Justin equals time. So keep that in mind. I know you didn't ask me that question, but I just wanted to state that so everyone's aware so you don't fall for those scams online. So when you're asking a trusted and reliable broker, all you have to do is look up, for example, if you live in the US and if you want to use a US broker, you can Google US Forex brokers and find those there. If you live overseas, like in the UK, you can find UK brokers just by Googling it and you'll find reputable UK brokers. If you want to go offshore, then that's up to you to go ahead and do your research and find offshore brokers. I'm not going to tell you what broker to use. I don't recommend you give your money to other people to invest for you, even if they're professionals, because at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, in my experience in life, the best person to manage the money is you. You know what to do with your money. Even if you don't know how to trade, that's why I say you should learn how to trade so you can properly invest your own money. Don't let other people invest for you. That's just the way I look at it. Saint Okoro says, how long did it take to be profitable and with how much funding? Wow, it took me about 4 years to become finally profitable. And that was when I discovered divergence. And once I discovered divergence, it was like everything I learned throughout the 4 years. Now I'm my 5th year. But throughout the 4 years, it was like all that information finally came together once I learned divergence, and I instantly blew up. Like I instantly started seeing 10 times more success than I ever did for the past 4 years. So divergence pretty much helped confirm everything I learned, and it helped me accelerate my success a lot faster. When it comes to the amount of funding, once I started to become really profitable, I had over $10,000 in the account, and I was able to finally make a living off that and go full time. So my personal recommendation, if anyone out there is considering taking trading full time, don't attempt to go full time into trading with $100, $1,000, even $5,000. Number one, develop the right winning mindset. Number two, you need to develop a consistently winning strategy, and then you want to focus on making money, then focus on compounding your account. But you're really not going to go full time unless you have at least 10K to 30K in your account. That's just what I believe. Memo says, are you going to do a seminar this year? No, I do not plan on doing any in-person seminars, but if I do, you guys will know. So Federico.Cono says, is it better to trade regular or hidden divergences the first times? That's a good question. Over my experience with divergence, the best type of divergence you can trade are hidden divergences. If you don't know, hidden divergences are trend continuations. They help you spot trend continuations. So if we're in an uptrend, and if you spot bullish hidden divergence, that's a good sign that it could potentially keep on going up. And most of the time, it does follow along with the trend. If we're in a downtrend, and if you spot bearish hidden divergence, that's a good sign that the trend continuation could keep going down. You guys know those two quotes, the trend is your friend, trade with the trend? Well, that's very important, and that's very true, because if you become a trend trader, you're going to make a lot more money than people who try trading against the trend, which is regular divergences and reversals. I've made lots of money trading regular divergences, which is a regular reversal in the market, like a pullback, and I've made 10 times more money trading with the trend, which are hidden divergences. So I always recommend hidden divergences over regular divergences. So that's about it for now. I pretty much had another 100 questions, but I'm looking through all of them right now, and they're all pretty much repeat questions. Everyone's asking the same thing, but I just answered the main ones that I kept getting right here. So check me out on Instagram. I'll be doing these polls every once in a while. I'll be doing these Q&As, so you can ask me a question and I'll answer it in a YouTube video. And anytime I find an interesting question, I'll let you know here on a YouTube video. So I believe that's it for now. I answered those questions that I believe were the most important ones. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.